All righty. Good morning. If you want to see how we made this, we built this 17 by 12 deck under our southeast shed roof. Stay tuned, because that's what we're going to do today. Well, welcome to another Memphis Monday 250, the 50th week of our 5th year, 250 straight Memphis Mondays. Today we're going to be building a shed roof deck. We're going to extend a few weeks ago we built that southeast shed roof, and today we're going to put a deck under there. But it's a pretty big job, so we need to knock off the chit chat and get to work. The shed roof that we're going to put a deck under, and here's the deck. I've already started to frame it in. I left these last few joists out so I can show you how it's done. Let's draw a picture of this deck and show you how it's put together. If it's at all possible, you want to put your decking, your deck boards, along the long axis of your deck. So you want, on this deck we have under the east shed roof, the decking goes along the long axis. So you want to continue this out this way. But then you can see that this deck we're going to do today, that won't work, because when you get out you can carry it this way, but then your boards won't be running long ways. So how this works is the actual deck itself contains the rim joists all the way around. Then you want your decking go this way, so what you do is you make a square right here. Okay, this is a king joist here, and then you make, I'm going to be putting some tie braces in across here, because I got bad corners there to connect the joist to, or the hip joist. So then I'll put this hip joist in, and that's a doubled up joist right there. And then the jacks go in, there's 7 of them coming off the hip, and then they go back over here, same thing. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so those are the hip joists. This is the king joist here. This is the one that makes up the square. All these are 45-degree angles. And then I have 4 common rafters, or common joist over here. And then we'll put our decking, we'll just continue, our decking will go up and meet the other decking just like this. Okay, and then same thing up here. Okay, let's go out there and take a look at it. Here's our framework. Here's our hip joist right there. It goes between those two corners. I didn't have very good corners down here to work with. They were kind of uneven, and so I put in this tie brace here and connected my rim joist to it. Actually, I thought I invented that, but I looked on the internet and I didn't invent it at all. You can probably see it better at the other end. Here's this tie-in here. That's a double 2x6s held with it's called a strong tie. And I have metal strong ties at both ends also. Actually, all the joists are put in with metal. I don't think it's be strictly necessary. As a matter of fact, I know it's not. But I did anyway. So all the floor joists are put in on 16-inch centers. And what I did is I pre-installed all the joist hangers. Let's go ahead and install this one. Okay, the first thing you got to do is you got to figure out where this joist is going to go. You know your joist is going to end up down here in this joist hanger, but then exactly where it's going to fit here is the question today. I'll show you how that's done. There's other ways to do it, but I think this is the normal way. Take your, since I know I'm on 16-inch centers, take this carpenter square. So I want the joist to be right there. So what I do is I set it right on the edge. And then mark it to length. And I mark it squared up. Now you should use this to do this. I never do. I always use this. And I'm fixing to show you another tool I have, but you don't need. It's called a strap nailer, and use it to install these metal straps. Now I've already got my joist nailed in, so technically honestly, I don't think I even need these. You know, this is what's called a platform deck, so it's not even a deck. But how this works is, it doesn't work like a regular bump nailer. You actually you put the nail in the hole like that. And it fires the nail in. Same deal down at the joist hanger end. Now the strap nailer won't reach back in these corners very easy. And so what I do is I take this long drill bit, make me some starter holes, and use joist hanger screws. You have a couple options. You can use nails or screws, like I said. Here I'm doing nails. And with the nails, you need one of these long punches. And then you can get back in there and make sure they're seated. Okay, now with the screws, get your set your screw in the pre-drilled holes we drilled, and then just run the screws home. You got to put them in at an angle, of course. And I use my 20 volt driver on this because I want them in really tight, unlike most of my screws I use. Well, we got a new helper here, but so far he hasn't been much help. I got the rest of that framework in, and I went ahead and put this one little triangle of deck boards down. Let's take a look at how that's organized. All these deck boards intersect here at this 45-degree angle. And I want the edge of them to be straight and so forth. So what I've done is I've installed this cleat along here for the boards to run up against. And then I'll take that out, and then the boards that come the other way will bump up against these. So I just put these in with screws. And then I'll uninstall the cleat now. I forgot to install one row of screws here on this strong tie. Let's do it with screws. So this cleat provided some backing for this decking, so I just run it right up against that cleat and keep it straight. Now when I put the boards on the other way, I'll be able to run them right up against the other boards as a backstop. Another thing I've done, this isn't 100% necessary, is I doubled up some joists to provide nailers. It's just easier and makes a better connection. And there's our buddy right over there. This is one of those decks where every single deck board has to be trimmed in some way. There's no freebies. I got a selection of boards, 16s, 12s, 10s, and 8s. This board we're cutting now is just a little bit over 8 feet, but so I'm going to have to use a 10-footer. That board we're just cutting goes along here on the outside. The problem I'm dealing with now is this rim joist sits nice and flat against this post here, and the distance here is 1.25 inches. But down here on the corner post, this corner post has a little twist to it, and this is 5.5. So I'm gonna have to work around that problem. Well, here's my scheme. I got that thing propped in there. I'm gonna take some of this same wood. I built these deals out of. And I'll set this on there cattywampus just like it is, and trace that design. And down here it might actually work. The cattywampus side, I'm making this thing kind of offset to take up for that cattywampus pole. You see what happens when you mess up made that pole cattywampus 1/2 inch, and it's causing us all this trouble. Didn't even notice it at the time. So I got that wrapped around that post, and then after I nail this edge board in, then the next board will go right in there like that. Now for this junction, I don't have to cut anything here because I'm going to be butting it directly up against this post. And I can get away with that because I have this nailer here, this joist that came out right exactly on that post. Now for this end down here, we'll use the same trick we used. Take this some remnant of this fence post material, and we'll trace what we want to cover. Well, I got that first deck board in. We'll knock off for today, edit video, and hit it again tomorrow. I'm just sawing off the, just temporarily sawing off these ends here, and I'll cut them all off at one time with a straight edge later on. Minutes ago you saw me fitting a piece of remnant in here, and that's what I'm doing here. That's how I get these corners semi-tight. By taking a piece of remnant, I can trim it a lot easier, then use it as a template when I cut my last piece. Putting the last board in here now. Let's go cut this one. So I know this piece fits in there. So all I have to do is trace that profile onto my board. Cut it out. Let's see if we can get this last board to fit. See how unsquare our deck is. Another tool I don't think you've seen. This is a sheet metal cutter. I never have been able to get it to work right because I know it's operator error. But I got to cut this trim back because my well, I guess our corner shed roof now has a deck under it. Let's go take a look at it. Well, that pretty much does it for Memphis Monday 258. Not much drama with our deck. It was just conventional 2x6 framing job. It's level with our east deck over here. I think we'll get some pretty good use out of it. Well, that'll do it for Memphis Monday 258. I bet there's not a single person that noticed that I had written 250 there instead of 258. But anyway, we got our deck under our southeast shed roof. There was no drama. Everything went perfectly. Everything fit. I think it's going to be a pretty good deck. We've only got 2 more weeks in this year. We'll have a project next week. I don't know exactly what it'll be. And then we'll have our year-end special where we'll go through all of our projects for the year, all 52 of them. Hope you got some takeaways. Hope the video wasn't too long. But it is what it is, as my buddy used to say. Anyway, share and like and favorite and all the stuff you do on the internet. Most important, make sure you're back here next week for another exciting Memphis Monday. Thanks for playing along.